Okay, so this is going to be an update on the progress for the web app and the mobile app. Right, so let's just have a look at how it works. You can sign in via the login page. Okay, and then you're taken to a dashboard which has your target number of days countdown. You can also change to light mode or dark mode. And then from here you access the relationship mechanic, where you can answer its questions and get the advice as it works regularly in ChatGPT. Right. So what I want to do now is just explain kind of how this all works, so that it can be a record for anyone else who's working on it, or myself in future, or Johan. So this is a Next.js web app. Next.js is a React framework. So React is a JavaScript web framework, and then Next.js is React.js is a JavaScript library, and then Next.js is a framework. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't think it does really, but anyway, so it's a Next.js web app which is hosted on Vercel. So this is Vercel, and there's a couple of other external services. So one of them is the authentication, which is done through Firebase. Firebase is the Google platform. So this is the dashboard for Firebase, and there's authentication, so you can see the accounts, and here you can, for instance, delete the account, or change the password, I think, or send a password reset link. And then there's also a database. So the dashboard currently has the number of target days, and that is saved on the database. So Firebase is just for the authentication, and the database is done through MongoDB. So this is Mongo Compass, which is the desktop access point for MongoDB. And so we have 3 users and the number of target days. And so the way it works at the moment is you set up the account just through the sign up page. And you set the number of target days. Okay, so let's see if this works. Okay, so 300 target days, and then if we go back to the database and refresh it, then we should see this new user. And the same thing on Firebase. Okay, so we have this new user. Good. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how the Next.js code actually works. Because maybe you're not familiar with Next.js. I certainly wasn't until recently. It's structured into these folders. So the main folder is app, and then everything in app is kind of what is directly used and shown on the website. So for example, within app there is dashboard, and then within dashboard there's page.js. So page.js is the dashboard page. Login folder with page.js inside is the login page. So the URL slug, it's called. The URL itself is encoded by these folders. So because this folder is called dashboard, when you go to volvox.guru, in this case, /dashboard, it accesses this page.js folder, this file. And the page.js file is what's called a React component, which is basically a JavaScript function, exported JavaScript function, in this case called dashboard page, and it returns, the return value of the function is JSX. So this is JSX code, which basically is HTML. It looks a lot like HTML, but it's kind of special HTML because it's not directly read by the browser. It's Next.js and React take this special HTML or JSX and they convert it into real HTML. So they'll look at things like on-click so-and-so set dark mode, which is not it's not valid raw HTML, and they'll convert that into React, and Next will convert stuff like that into something that is raw HTML. And same with this. Like this, you wouldn't get this in raw HTML, but Next and React convert it into raw HTML. Yeah, so page.js of the dashboard is a React component. It's a function dashboard page which returns basically the styling in the form of this HTML-like code. And this HTML-like code is special because it can take variables like the dark mode on or off. If it's on, with this question mark, if it's on, then this is shown. If it's off, then the moon is shown. And so it kind of goes like this. So one aspect is the visual in what you see on the website, like all the buttons and how everything is presented. And then there's the integration to the back end, which is done by basically by APIs. And so you can see outside of the app folder, there's some other things like auth context, database.js, db.js, firebase.js. So this firebase.js will connect to the Firebase API through this getAuth function, and it's taking these API keys. So API key, auth domain, project ID, basically the things which specify that it's related to the Firebase account. So these values are all held in the env.local file. So these are the actual values. Maybe I shouldn't show those. I'm gonna have to cut those out. So the API key is what connects to the database, the authentication database, right? And then MongoDB URI is a special key which connects to the MongoDB database, and then the OpenAI key connects to the ChatGPT for the chatbot, which we haven't talked about yet. But we looked at Firebase, and so Firebase is used if we go to the app and the sign up page. We'll see that the sign up page imports create user with email and password, which is used here. So try user credential, await create user with username and password. So that's a Firebase function, which is here used in handle submit, and handle submit is a function which is used in this form. So on submit, handle submit, and we can see that this is the form which is used in the sign up page. Okay, MongoDB, the database is connected to by this code function db connect. So it's using Mongoose, which is an additional library connected to MongoDB, and then the user schema specifies how the database objects should look. So there's a Firebase unique identifier, email, target days, and created. Okay, so you sort of get the idea. Then the chat mechanic. So if we go to the website, click on relationship mechanic, it takes us to volvox.guru/chat mechanic. Okay, so then we go back to the app. We see, okay, chat mechanic folder, page.js. So it's this code that's working. And So how does it work? how does it send the API request to, in this case, ChatGPT? Well, it's calling an API route. So there's an API route built into this web app. If we just look here, there's API chat, then root.js. So this is the code which actually works with with OpenAI to get the response using LangChain. So I'll talk a little bit about what LangChain is in just a moment. The simplest version of like a ChatGPT API call is just you send the prompt and then you get back a single response, and that's it. There's no memory. Yeah, so if we look at chat mechanic, and if I search for like post, okay, so it's a fetch. Try response equals await fetch. So fetch is where it sends a request to an API. In this case, it's API/chat, and it's a post method. These are the headers, and then the body is the message, user message. Okay. And user message is specified, set messages, user message. Yeah, okay. This is all in handle send. Okay, and then the API chat route has a post method, so that was a fetch post style request. So if I look for post, then we should see, yeah, so this is the post request. So return next response.json. So next response is a LangChain feature, I think. No, it's not. No. Okay, so LangChain does. So the actual chat OpenAI function is from LangChain itself. Okay. So this is where the master prompt text goes in, and the user message, maybe not. Post request, join body. Okay, so you get the message, session ID, then the message. The message goes to, so input message, context, retrieve context. And this is await with history invoke, so that will be a LangChain feature. Yeah, runnable with message history. Okay, that'll be LangChain. Yeah, import runnable sequence, runnable with message history. Okay, so I keep saying LangChain. What is LangChain? The simplest way of doing an API call to something like ChatGPT or Claude or whatever is you just send programmatically, you just send a prompt, and then you get a response, and that's kind of it. So that's the simplest way of doing it. You write some code, it sends a prompt, you get a response, and then if you send another prompt, ChatGPT doesn't know that you've made the first prompt. There's no memory, like there is on the website. Okay, so LangChain lets you do something like having memory. It lets you have a memory in the chat, even in your program. And this is something called retrieval augmented generation, RAG. What does RAG stand for? Let me just check. RAG. Retrieval augmented generation, right? Yeah, retrieval augmented generation with LangChain. It's widely used method. Okay, so so we're not training a model outright. We're just sort of intelligently giving the right context um, to the API call through this framework called LangChain, and it's a style called retrieval augmented generation. So it basically packages the master prompt into the initial API call with the user message. Well, then it gets the user message. No. It creates a back and forth chain with some memory of what's been said before. So I'm going to leave it there because maybe I don't understand it well enough to explain, but that will improve over time. Okay. So that's kind of an overview of the web app. So let's go to the mobile app. Okay, so this is the code for the mobile app, which is a bit different. It's still React. It's React Native, React Native with the Expo framework. So with the web app, it's React with a Next.js framework. This is React Native with an Expo framework. So Expo is like Next, and React Native is like React. And it's actually very similar. So the pages, for example, the dashboard.js here, is a React component in that dashboard is a function, and the function returns something that looks a lot like the JSX that we were seeing before, something a bit like HTML. But here it's not as much like HTML. So you see that instead of div and the paragraph tag, you see a view and a text tag. Slightly different because it's not running on a web browser, so it doesn't use HTML style tags, but it's the same structure. Okay, so this is the dashboard, and let's just run it. If I just go npx expo start, then there's different ways of running it. You can scan this QR code with your phone and open it on the Expo Go app, or in my case, we're going to use the simulator. So it's just going to load up on a simulator here. It's just taking a minute. So you see something similar. The app.js is the main folder for the app, main component, and within that you see the different parts, like the dashboard, the chat screen, login screen, and then those correspond to these this stack of cards. Login screen, dashboard, chat screen. Theme context is just the styling. API, we'll talk about that in just a minute. Yeah, so it's kind of similar. Then the Firebase, it has the Firebase stuff in it as well. And it's still loading. So something I learned is that you can't directly connect from a mobile app to MongoDB, and it's not easy to connect directly to the LangChain API calls. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, so something I learned is that normally a Next.js web app, there's a client, which is your computer, connecting to the server, which is a computer probably somewhere in America hosting the website, and then the server connects to the database. So your client computer doesn't directly go to the database; it goes there via the server. But with a mobile app, there's no server because it's running on your phone. It's a native bit of software. So for the mobile app to connect to the database, it needs to go via a server, and MongoDB doesn't have an option to do that in-house. So the way this actually works is to access the MongoDB database, it connects directly to the API route of the web app. So the web app is actually needed for the mobile app to work. So if I go ahead and create an account here, okay, let's go 400 days, and it should work. Okay. So yeah, we have the database object. If I just refresh the MongoDB, okay, so we see this 400 days. That's our database object, and Firebase, we should see our new user. Okay, so we got to Firebase, we got to MongoDB from the web app, the mobile app, sorry. But the mobile app is actually going through the web app and connecting to the database through the web app. And so let's just have a look how that happens. If we go to the login screen, and if I just search for fetch, yeah, so response fetch API URL base / register. So this API URL base is defined here as just, in this case, volvox.guru /API. So it's fetch volvox.guru /API /register, and it's a post. Okay. But if we go back to the web app code, what you see is, so this is running on volvox.guru /API, this one, /register, it's this one. So it's actually hitting this file, and it's using the post in this file to create a user record in Firebase. Yeah, so it's connecting to the web app, which is interesting, and it's doing that also to get the data if you just log in directly. So that's for registering, whereas this is for just like log in. So it's /API /user /UID, which is going to be the specific UID of that user, and then the root. So this is going to get their data. So get user data, which is from actions get user data, which is here. So actions get user data, get user data exported, and it's await DB connect. So DB connect is going to be a Mongo. DB connect is from lib.data. DB connect, is a Mongoose connects Mongo URI. Yeah, then that's how it works. Okay, so back in the mobile app, if we then go to the relationship mechanic, and I think we delete our, no we didn't, okay, just copy that. Okay, and that's going to use this code. I think my internet is a little bit slow. So chat screen. Okay, so we got the response. Okay, got the response, and chat screen handle send. So this is sending off the message. And it's the same thing. So it's a response equals await fetch API URL base /chat. And that's the same API URL base, which is just connecting to our, in this case, volvox.guru /API. So that's going to the web app chat route. It's the same. It's the same code that's used by the web app itself to do the LangChain chat. Interesting. I didn't know it worked like that before doing it. Yeah. So that's the web app working. And I guess that's going to be it for now.